Sheepie-gaming here, and today I'm going to show you how to start with taking a Lysol butt wipe. Just put that to the side. So the first thing is, like, obviously you can do this every day. You're just going to clean up. It starts clogging it up, it's making it slower, it makes the engine get up faster because it's heating up more, and it's basically just doing all those things. Now, once you just have it cleaned up from like a Lysol wipe or whatever, the next thing you're going to do is that's when you use your vacuum. So there's going to be a lot of noise when I use my vacuum, so you're not going to use the actual, obviously, the vacuum itself. You're going to use something like this, and then you're just going to basically suck it in here from the fan side, so it sucks all the dust out. So I'm going to do it right now. Let's see, how do I turn on my vacuum? Like I said, this is going to make a lot of noise, but I wanted to give you guys a visual perspective of what I was trying to do. Just put my vacuum back. So that's basically it. Once you do that, you'll see like all the dust gets like sucked out of it. If you have like a one that's even more narrow, like you can actually like even get closer in, that's even better for you if you can honestly do that. But literally, this is like one of the best ways to clean out your PlayStation 4 without opening it up. The reason why people don't want to open it up, because you actually have to, it's been a while since I did it, you can actually like pop this open, but then you need like very tiny screws or screwdrivers to be able to like open it up. You gotta order online, it's like $10. Again, it's not hard, people just don't want to do that, they get scared, they don't want to like break something. I understand the fear, but hey, this is literally how you clean out your PlayStation 4 without opening it up. So yeah, if you guys overall like the video, please smash that like button, helps a lot.
Hang on, you only need to remove these 3 screws. I'm going to show you how to properly clean the fan. T8 security screwdriver. You could use a small flathead size 2 screwdriver. Just make sure to place the flathead securely in between the grooves and turn slowly to avoid stripping the screw. Once you removed all the screws, it's time to pull back the cover. Now, I did this with one hand while recording with the other, but when you do this, you want to use both hands to gently pry up, moving around the back. With a small amount of pressure, it should easily pop off. If you notice that the cover is a bit dirty, just use a damp towel or some sort of compressed air or a vacuum to just clean it. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to properly clean the fan, the heatsink, and the power supply. There's no point in having a clean fan if the inside of the power supply or the heatsink are all clogged up with all that dust and dirt and nasty stuff in there. Don't worry, it's a lot simpler than it sounds. Just follow the tutorial and you should be fine. If you don't feel comfortable removing the power supply to clean it and the heatsink, that's okay. Just skip ahead to the fan cleaning portion. Alright, so let's move on. Remove these screws holding down the power supply. The screws circled in green use the T8 security bit. All the ones circled in red, you can just use the Phillips or Posse screwdriver to remove them. It's important to clean the power supply because the dust and dirt acts as a blanket covering the components inside, making it run hotter, which results in a shorter lifespan. Once you removed all the screws, unplug the little connector by gently wiggling it out. Here's the tricky and most difficult part of this whole tutorial. What you want to do is with both hands wiggle the power supply upwards. You will feel more resistance from the left side where you disconnected the connector, but that's okay, that's normal. Just wiggle it a little bit harder on that side until it pops right out. To clean the power supply, all you have to do is take some compressed air and use small bursts of air inside. Don't shake the can of compressed air before or during use to avoid forming ice. If that happens, it's not the end of the world, but it's also not the best thing for electronics. Just do short bursts of air like I did and you'll avoid that. With the power supply clean, we can now move on to the fan. There are a lot of different ways to clean the fan. One of them is using cotton swabs to clean each blade individually, like so. Another is using a hoover or vacuum to just suck at all the dust. You can also use a brush and simply brush off all the dirt, or even just use the compressed air. Pick any of these methods that you feel the most comfortable with. Moving on to the heat sinks, as mentioned, there's no point in having a clean fan if your heat sink and power supply are all clogged up. This one isn't as dirty, but if it was, simply get a brush and brush out all the nasty stuff that might be stuck in there. Compressed air works fine too. Once you're done, use compressed air or a brush to clean the surrounding areas. You could also use a hoover or a vacuum if you want, but I personally don't use that method. Assembling your PlayStation 4 is the same as when you took it apart, just in reverse order. A few tips for reassembling the power supply. Don't forget to plug the connector back in and make sure the screws circled in green have the tabs facing inwards like this. The next PS4 tutorial I'm going to show you how to remove the scratches from the gloss black cover. If you have any questions, filling it out. Here's the tricky and most difficult part of this whole tutorial. What you want to do is with both hands wiggle the power supply upwards. You will feel more resistance from the left side where you disconnected the connector, but that's okay, that's normal. Just wiggle it a little bit harder on that side until it pops right out. To clean the power supply, all you have to do is take some compressed air and do small bursts of air inside. Don't shake the can of compressed air before or during use to avoid forming ice. If that happens, it's not the end of the world, but it's also not the best thing for electronics. Just a short burst of air like I did and you'll avoid that. With the power supply clean, red, you can just use the Phillips or Posi screwdriver to remove them. It's important to clean the power supply